2 short weeks were all it took for Baghdad, the once powerhouse of Islamic culture, to crumble under the weight of destruction. In a mere 13 days, the serene waters of the Tigris River turned murky with the ink of priceless manuscripts, as the grand libraries that once symbolized the city's intellectual prowess went up in smoke. Centuries of knowledge vanished in a blaze, leaving behind nothing but ashes and heartache. The streets, once alive with the hustle and bustle of everyday life, became a chilling tableau of horror. The cobblestones, once trodden by scholars and merchants alike, now bore the grim stain of bloodshed, with the lives of countless souls lost to the merciless onslaught. In just 13 days, the illustrious reign of the Abbasid Caliphate in Baghdad came to a tragic end, signaling the somber close to the Islamic Golden Age. Founded in 762 AD by Al-Mansur, the second caliph of the Abbasid dynasty, Baghdad swiftly rose to prominence as a center of immense wealth, thanks to its control over vital trade routes and taxation. This wealth transformed Baghdad into a cosmopolitan hub and the undisputed focal point of the Islamic Golden Age. The city became a thriving melting pot where poets, writers, scientists, philosophers, musicians, and scholars of every sort flourished. At the apex of Baghdad's cultural and intellectual growth stood illustrious institutions like the esteemed House of Wisdom and the revolutionary astronomical observatories. These epicenters of knowledge didn't just embrace progress, they drove it forward, leveraging innovations like the adoption of paper technology and the amalgamation of ancient wisdom from diverse corners of Eurasia. The result? Baghdad became more than just a city. It was hailed as the intellectual capital of the planet, a testament to its unrivaled contributions to human thought and discovery, as acclaimed by Justin Morosi. But alas, every paradise has its twilight. In the year 1258, a shadow fell upon Baghdad, and its bearer was none other than Hulagu Khan, grandson of the legendary Mongol warlord Genghis Khan. Hulagu Khan, a figure of relentless ambition and fearsome reputation, stands at the head of his vast army, ready to unleash havoc upon the city of Baghdad. His name alone strikes fear into the hearts of many, and with good reason. Known for his ruthless tactics and brutal campaigns, Hulagu is not a foe to be taken lightly. With his army at the ready and his sights set on Baghdad, Hulagu wasted no time in delivering a chilling message to the Abbasid Caliph Al-Mustasim. In a letter dripping with menace, Hulagu makes his intentions clear. I will cast you down from the heavens, shatter your empire, and leave nothing but ashes in my wake. Your city will burn, your people will perish, and your legacy will be naught but dust. Hulagu Khan's warnings were not to be taken lightly. He meant every word. He even offered the Caliph Al-Mustasim a slim chance for mercy amidst the impending devastation. Heed my words, Hulagu cautioned, for I offer you a chance to spare yourself and your kin from the wrath that awaits. Defy me, and you shall face the consequences ordained by the will of God. However, despite the gravity of Hulagu's threats and the dire situation facing Baghdad, the Caliph's arrogance knew no bounds. Al-Mustasim, known for his interests in pigeon racing, art, calligraphy, and treasures, was also characterized by indecisiveness and was prone to manipulation by factions within his court. He proved to be ill-suited for the challenges of leadership, particularly when faced with the overwhelming force of Hulagu's army, numbering upwards of 138,000 men. Not only did the Caliph fail to provide aid to the Mongols in their time of need, particularly in their efforts to overthrow the Order of Assassins, a rebel group in Persia, but he also insulted Hulagu's prowess, believing Baghdad to be impregnable, a fortress of faith protected by divine providence. In a bold declaration, the Caliph asserted, every monarch who has attacked the Abbasid dynasty in Baghdad has met a sad doom. The foundation of this palace is extremely strong and will last until doomsday. But Hulagu Khan, unfazed by the Caliph's bravado, delivered a chilling response. I shall bring you down miserably into the jaws of the lion. Hence, fueled by the ambitions of his brother, the great Khan Mongol, Hulagu Khan gathered his mighty army, over 138,000 strong, and set forth on a westward campaign, ready to confront anyone who dared to oppose their path. The stage was set for a clash of titans, and the fate of Baghdad hung precariously in the balance. As Hulagu's army marched through Kermanshah, chaos and destruction followed in their wake. They closed in on Baghdad from 3 different directions. As they advanced, cities and towns across Mesopotamia fell under their control. By January 1258, the Mongols had Baghdad surrounded. The Caliphal army, led by the Dawadar, tried to push them back, but they fell right into a Mongol trap. A sneaky move by the Mongols, a pretend retreat, lured the defenders into a flood disaster, leaving only a handful to make it back to Baghdad. By January 22nd, Baghdad was completely trapped. Mongol forces from all over, along with their allies from Iran, Turkey, Georgia, Armenia, and even China, had the city surrounded. The defenders knew they were outnumbered and outmatched, facing impossible odds that weighed heavily on their spirits. It was a dire situation, and the end seemed near. Over the following week, Mongols meticulously prepared for their attack. They set up floating bridges across the Tigris, armed with nets and hooks to prevent any escape attempts. Stones for the catapults had to be brought in from afar. They dug a defensive ditch around the city, using the excavated earth to build up a barrier with gates. They even made protective covers for their siege machines. The assault began on January 29th, with a relentless barrage of stones and arrows raining down on Baghdad. The defenders tried to fight back. Their weapons were no match for the Mongols. The city walls started to crumble under the constant bombardment. It seemed like the end was near. Realizing the gravity of the situation, Caliph al-Mustasim attempts to negotiate with Hulagu Khan, and the Mongols aren't interested in talking. They kill the messenger and demand the Caliph's unconditional surrender. So on February 10th, the Caliph and his family emerge from the city, placing their fate in the hands of their conquerors. Initially treated with a degree of respect, the surrendered Caliph and other prominent figures find themselves effectively trapped between the city walls and the Mongol forces. With the surrender formalized, the devastating sack of Baghdad began on February 13th. But this isn't just a chaotic onslaught. No, it's a meticulously planned assault. The invaders don't just storm the city, they target its very heart. Treasures amassed over the city's 500-year history are shamelessly plundered, and the finest examples of Abbasid architecture are ruthlessly razed to the ground. The toll on human life was staggering. While the exact number of casualties remains unknown, Hulagu, the Mongol leader, later estimated it at around 200,000 lives lost. As if that weren't horrific enough, imagine this: 12,000 severed ears, grim trophies of the slain citizens, were presented before Hulagu. The streets ran red with blood as death swept through the city. But surprisingly, amidst the devastation, pockets of mercy emerged. Some groups, including Christians, merchants, and scholars, are spared from the worst of the carnage. Hulagu entered the city on February 15th, visiting the Caliph's palace, where al-Mustasim was forced to reveal where he had hidden his wealth. After granting the palace to Makika to serve as a Christian church, Hulagu mockingly hosted a banquet for the Caliph. During the banquet, Hulagu, with a mixture of mockery and disdain, set a golden tray before the Caliph and said, "Eat," to which the Caliph replied, "It is not edible." Hulagu, persisting in his sarcasm, questioned, "Then why did you keep it and not give it to your soldiers? And why did you not make these iron doors into arrowheads? Come to the bank of the river so that I might not have been able to cross it." The Caliph resigned and replied, "Such was God's will." Hulagu, with a smirk, retorted, "What will befall you is also God's will." This incident likely inspired a folktale, as recounted by Christian writers such as Marco Polo, in which Hulagu locked al-Mustasim in a cell surrounded by his treasures, leading to his death by starvation. However, in reality, on February 20th, Hulagu moved away from the city to escape the putrid air, and at the village of Wakaf, he had al-Mustasim put to death, likely by being rolled into a carpet and stomped upon to avoid spilling his blood on the ground. His family met a similar fate. With the fall of Baghdad, the 500-year-old Abbasid Caliphate came to an abrupt end. This event had a profound impact on Islam, as the Caliphate, seen as the spiritual and political head of Islam, had been considered inviolable and permanent. Its sudden eradication sent shockwaves through the Islamic world, as previous dynasties had merely held the caliphs as puppets or defeated them militarily, but never before had the Caliphate been completely erased from existence.